Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and in today's video, we're comparing the Mazda CX-5 to the Toyota RAV4 to see which automaker makes the best crossover. Before we get into this video, I want to give a huge shout out and thank you to the Brent Brown Toyota for giving me some time with the RAV4 and to the Orem Mazda for giving me some time with the CX-5. I'm going to include a link to both their websites in the description down below so you can check out the inventory that they both currently have. If you have any questions, just reach out to either dealership. And then on a side note, if you want to save time and money the next time you purchase a car, link to my car buying guide in the description down below. Let's get into it. Powering the RAV4 is a naturally aspirated 2.5 liter four-cylinder that goes through an 8-speed automatic transmission. Power outputs are 203 horsepower and then 184 pound-feet of torque. Powering the CX-5 is a naturally aspirated 2.5 liter four-cylinder that goes through a 6-speed automatic transmission. Power outputs are 187 horsepower and then 186 pound-feet of torque. Before we move forward with the comparison, I do want to mention, if you want to see more videos just like this, then I recommend you subscribe because I post content every single day. So with the RAV4, it's got this aggressive angular appearance. Toyota's definitely trying to give the RAV4 a more like off-roady type vibe, and it definitely works. I mean, look at the bumper there at the bottom, the headlights, everything. Again, it looks more aggressive. Whereas with the CX-5, Mazda's gone for more of a minimalist luxury approach to the appearance. I mean, look at the hood, for example, right? It's just got a couple body lines, basically. Like, it's very simplistic, and so I guess we've got Beauty and the Beast with these two. Now, our tire and wheel setup is identical. It's 225, 65, 17 in the front and in the rear with both the vehicles. And when it comes to wheel design, well, there's a little bit of a difference. Again, with the Mazda, notice they've kind of gone for more of a luxury approach, whereas with the RAV4, bigger, chunkier spokes, because off-roader, right? So here's your full side view with the RAV4. Again, you guys can see with the big fender flares and with some of the body lines on the side, it's got this more angular appearance. On the other hand, with the Mazda, I mean, we still have fender flares, but notice how they're not nearly as prominent as what you have on the RAV4. And then look at the softer lines. Again, it's just more of like a flowing type design. Now, of course, both the key fobs have the logos of the manufacturers in the back, but notice with the Toyota key fob, all the controls are on the front, and the Mazda key fob, all the controls are on the side. So a little bbit of a difference there. Now, popping into the back of the Mazda, first off, it's got this interesting storage container here, which is, yeah, that's definitely unique. But overall, storage space is great in the back of the CX-5. And on top of that, we got a spare tire underneath, and then we got little latches to throw down the seats. Now, in the back of the RAV4, the storage space is pretty similar to what you have in the CX-5, and got a spare tire underneath just like the CX-5, so same. Now, again, when it comes to rear end design, you guys can see with the CX-5, it's a little bit more rounded off, and again, it's all about just flowing. With the RAV4, I would say it's boxier compared to the CX-5, and again, I wouldn't necessarily call it beautiful. The CX-5 you can definitely call beautiful, so let me know which design language you like better. Do you like the flowing, beautiful design of the CX-5, or do you like the angry, aggressive, angular design of the RAV4? Now, popping inside, this is quite impressive. Look at the material use here in the back of the CX-5 and the seats. As well, you can see perforated all down the center. Really nice look. And quickly popping in, legroom back here is good. We've got some vent action here in the center. We also have, of course, a center console cup holder armrest section. And then headroom back here, it's also good. Now with the RAV4, you guys can see more of a utilitarian design here. And then we actually have cloth seats. And these are pretty much the same price for those of you wondering. I'll go over pricing a little bit later. But anyways, here's your legroom. Got some vents here in the center, some USB action. Headroom's good, so that's good. And then cup holder armrest. Now, taking a look at the front door panel, you can see the stitching that goes across and then the padding down below. All of our window controls here, we've got our mirror adjustments in the front, and then you guys can see the mirrors themselves. I like that trim piece there too. But anyways, here are the front seats, perforated all down the center. Memory seat function, you got your power adjustments, and then you guys can see you got your hill climb assist. That's pretty cool. Lane departure, you've got that for the hatch, and then your gas cap / hood latch release. Anyways, solid sound with the closing. Ooh. So here is the steering wheel, really nice material use all around. We've got adaptive cruise control with this. We got some controls for the center stack. And then yes, we do have analog gauges here in the center. You do have that screen off to the side, but I do think it looks very classy. And then there's a sport mode that you can go into. I'll show you guys the switch a little bit later. And then in reverse, there's your backup camera. And this is not a touchscreen, so Mazda is going away from touchscreens. They just have this dial system. Response time with it's really good. It's frankly easy to use. I'll show you guys the control tab in a little bit. And then look at the padding there on the dash, and then look at the vents here. And then we do have our dual zone climate controls. We've got heated seats here for the front on top of that. And then you got the shifter for that 6-speed automatic transmission, your drive mode select right there. Parking brake, you got your auto hold, and then this is the infotainment system controls. Let's see there in the center, and then let's see the glove box. Yeah, pretty spacious indeed. And we do have a sunroof, which is nice. Now with the RAV4, again, it's more utilitarian with the design. We've got all of our window controls here, mirror adjustments. The mirrors do have blind spot monitoring. And then here's the front seat. You can see with all of the cloth trim. Power adjustments here on the side. You got your hatch opening, some storage right there, and nice sound. Ooh. So here is the steering wheel. We've got adaptive cruise control. You got like your lane keep assist on this. You get your volume control. So pretty similar functionality, but it obviously doesn't look as pretty or feel as nice as the Mazda. And then gauge cluster. So again, you can tell it's like more towards like the utilitarian approach, where it's less about looking good and more about just like being functional. I think that's a good way to kind of talk about that. Backup camera, pretty good resolution. Not going to do the infotainment system because this is the older unit. This is the only RAV4 available right now, but the newer unit responds really well, and it is a touchscreen. That's a big difference. So the RAV4 is a touchscreen, Mazda does not. And they do have dual zone climate controls. We also have a little stability control button there, and then your auto stop start, and then you get this little charging area here. Bunch of different drive modes for both on-road and off-road use. Again, like I said, they're trying to market the RAV4 as more of a utility vehicle nowadays. Shift for the 8-speed automatic. This is nice. And you actually get storage above the glove box. I like that. Again, utility. That's a thing to describe the RAV4. Got some cup holders here, center console, and then we do have a sunroof up top. When it comes to pricing, both of these originally stickered for just over $30,000. So yes, they're pretty much the same price. Well, starting off in the CX-5, then we'll drive the RAV4 second. First off, I really like these seats, super comfortable. And I think it's so cool that Mazda offers such nice seats and just such a nice interior at this price point. Again, like $30,000. It's crazy. It's such a premium feeling car for the price that it's at. But, you know, first off, when it comes to ride quality, it's actually really good. The engine's very responsive, and so is the transmission. Transmission's got this nice snap to it, and we're not even in the sport mode, just in the normal driving mode. You go into the bumps and everything, it's comfortable. It's good sound insulation. Again, I really do feel like I'm, you know, in a luxury car for the most part. Not like a Mercedes S-Class level of luxury, but more like Audi or BMW, like their entry level cars, like a BMW 3 Series, for example, or, you know, Audi Q3. That's another one that would, you know, some of you might actually compare that to this, because those are like 40 grand. Well, I've got the CX-5 in the sport mode. Transmission's good. Power's good too. It's impressive. It really does have good power. So to quickly sum things up with the CX-5. It's comfortable. I think it looks good on the outside. It's got a very nice interior. Definitely has a luxury car feel to it. And so let's compare it to the RAV4. Well, setting off in the RAV4 back to back with the CX-5, and it'll be interesting to see the differences. I will say, because this has an 8-speed versus the 6-speed you have in the CX-5, it seems like the, you know, ratio's a little bit shorter, so it's like it's quicker to, not the shift points aren't quicker, but like it's shifting at a sooner time, which again, that honestly makes sense. 6-speed versus 8-speed. Seat comfort's good. I do prefer, again, the Mazda seats, because that Mazda's just got a much more upscale interior. And that's something I definitely want to touch base on with this, is this interior is not bad, but like build quality is really good, but it's just that the Mazda feels way more luxury. It's crazy that they're at the same price point, because it doesn't feel like that. Mazda feels like it's a step above when it comes to the interior. Ride quality is good with this. One thing I do want to mention that I'm also kind of noticing is the Mazda's handling. It felt like the steering definitely felt sharper, but the handling also felt sharper as well. So it had a sportier driving characteristic compared to what this RAV4 has. Okay, well, normally this is where we're going to get an acceleration, but as you guys can see, traffic is absolutely horrible here in Orem. So yeah, not exactly gonna, I guess, happen. But I did do a drive comparison with the RAV4 versus the Tucson just before this comparison, where I got an acceleration with the RAV4. So like, already know how it accelerates. So here's my I guess quote unquote hot take on this whole situation. So when it comes to just like feature to feature, the Mazda, it offers more for the same money. So like Mazda wins on that point. Exterior styling, that's going to come up to personal preference, but what I will say is the Mazda, like the design, it's just more beautiful, right? It looks like a luxury car on the outside and inside as well, like I said earlier. And when it comes to driving dynamics, like I said, the Mazda handles better, the steering's a little bit better. And so like with the Tucson versus RAV4 comparison, my final thoughts were their benefits and downsides of both. And with these two cars, you could make the same argument for certain things, but what I will say is, since Toyota actually owns, I'm pretty sure they own a stake in Mazda, and there's definitely some part sharing and everything. Like modern Mazdas are just as reliable as Toyotas, if not more reliable. And so you can't make the argument that, well, yeah, the Mazda has cooler features, this or that, but the Toyota's more reliable. It's like they're the same. And so my hot take is that if I'm going to spend $30,000-ish, I would get the Mazda personally. So a couple questions. Do you agree with me? Would you rather get the Mazda over the RAV4? And then second question, because I seriously want to know this. If you've purchased a RAV4, why did you buy the RAV4 over the CX-5? That, I would be very interested to hear why someone would do that. And I know that sounds weird to say, but again, nicer interior, better driving dynamics, same money, more feet, just let me know.